Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking about my induction story, which is kind of crazy. Having a baby is amazing. Induction is not. So let's talk about what it means to be induced. So I was 41 weeks. At 40 weeks, my doctor was like, hey, baby doesn't come, we're going to schedule you for induction. We don't let people go over 41 weeks. Okay, I started doing all type of stuff to induce, walking a lot, all type of stuff to naturally induce, but none of that worked for me. So I went to the doctor on Sunday, and that is when I was supposed to be induced. My induction story, my whole birth time in the hospital, 6 days. Yes, 6 long days. Get to the hospital on Sunday to start the induction process. I have some notes, so if I keep looking down, I want to make sure I hit everything, because I'm doing this video because I think it'll help other pregnant women concerning induction, because I went through every stage, and some people just go straight to one thing and don't do the rest, but I went kind of through every stage. So that is why I am telling you about this. I would have preferred if, my water just broke and I went to the hospital, I had a few pushes, and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But that wasn't my story. So anyway, I was not dilated at all. So no membrane sweep, couldn't do any of that because I wasn't dilated at all at 41 weeks. So it's now time to, as the doctors would say, cervical ripening, trying to get my cervix to be more conducive to the baby coming out, because my baby was head first. Everything was great. Everything was normal. Just she was cozy. So they started induction process for me after midnight on that Monday morning, Sunday night, midnight afterwards. They started me on Cervidel. Now all of these are vaginally, and it is something that they put in you for 12 hours each to ripen your cervix. And after both of those, I was only 1 centimeter dilated. Now you can do up to 3 rounds, but they decided to move me on to misoprostol or Cyotec. Sorry if I'm butchering these words. And I did 2 or 3 rounds of that. I think I did 2. And those are 6 hours each. No, I think I did 3 maybe. Those are 6 hours each. They keep that in you 6 hours at a time. And it looks kind of like a string, but it's and no, Cervidel is like a string. It's something that they put in you that releases medicine over time. And it wasn't painful. Neither was the Cyotec. The Cyotec was a pill, and you can take that orally, or they can give that vaginally. My hospital did not do oral for that, because they said statistically when women take it orally, they're more prone to cesarean sections. So it's like a pill, though. They put it in your cervix. So that's Tuesday for me. We're now down to Wednesday now, and that didn't dilate me anymore after 2 to 3 rounds of that. So they said, we're going to go ahead and give you the Foley Bulb. And I was like, oh, I heard that was so painful. You read blogs, horror stories, because it's kind of like a balloon. It's basically a balloon that they pump up in your cervix to widen it. And at first I was like, okay, what are my other options? They're like, we can't put you on Pitocin, but normally, because you're not dilated that much, we normally don't like to do that. But of course, you can refuse any service. And most people don't realize that, because they state it to you as, this is what we're going to do. And you can say, no, I would prefer not to do that. and ask for other options. So you're always in the driver's seat, just so you know. And I know sometimes it's hard because, of course, you want to trust the doctors, the nurses, everybody, all that stuff, but you also still have control over what's being put in your body, what's not, etc. So don't forget that. So I said, okay. I talked to my husband in the moment. We were talking, and I'm like, and he's like, whatever you want to do. My husband's so amazing. I probably just need to make a video about him just being so amazing and great during this entire process. We have a tendency to talk about men who aren't doing what they're supposed to do much more than the men who are doing everything to be helpful and loving and supportive, which my husband completely was. What an amazing, kind person he just is. Anyway, so I said okay to the Foley Bulb, or known as the balloon, and you can keep it in there for up to 12 hours. They offered me fentanyl, which is supposed to be really strong, because they said, yeah, some people find this to be really painful. And I was like, okay, my goal in this, guys, was to do this all natural. Because I was like, well, I wasn't against the epidural. I wasn't against taking medicine, nothing like that. I just wanted to see, okay, I don't know what the pain is like. Let me see if I can handle it. And if I can handle it, then great. But let me not go on other people's experience and just get stuff and not even know what it's like before I say, yeah, this is something I can't handle, or this is something I can handle. So that was my birthing plan, if you want to call it a plan. That's really not a plan. It's just I'm open, but let me see first. So they gave me the Foley balloon, and I was like, oh, that's not bad. And, they start blowing it up. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. I don't need the fentanyl. I'm not a big pill person anyway. I really don't like medicine. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I even am not, it takes me a lot to take ibuprofen or Tylenol or whatever. So, but then I started to feel this pain and lying in the bed, no matter how much I made it go up and down, turned around. Yeah. So, okay, this is going to be in me for 12 hours, and I need to either take the medicine or find a way to cope. If I can't find a way to cope, then I'll take the medicine. Well, I found a way to cope. I had to get out of the bed. I sat on a chair, hard chair, and like every 10 minutes there was a pain that happened with this balloon, and I was able to breathe through it while watching reruns of Friends. So for 12 hours, yeah, I sat there and had a coping mechanism, and I was fine. I still felt the pain and all that stuff, but I was able to breathe through it and not tense up, which is one of the ways you actually feel worse pain, is tensing up. Yeah, I did that too at one point. I was like, oh no. So stayed up the whole night, and by the end of that, I was almost 2 centimeters dilated. This is Thursday now. We're into Thursday. I've been at the hospital since Sunday afternoon, and we are at Thursday and still no baby. So they decided, said, well, you're about 2 centimeters. We're going to send you down to labor and delivery. Okay. Go down to labor and delivery. In all these places, I have my own room, which is really nice, which is great. And they're like, we're going to put you on the big P, Pitocin. So Pitocin is the thing that starts contractions. And yeah, I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I was okay for a while. And then it went from, contractions here and there that were like a 3 went to a 7 or 8. And I tried to be on the ball. It became paralyzing, where I just wanted to lay on the floor in a fetal position and was just like But I wasn't screaming, I wasn't crying. I was breathing through it and kind of suppressing the pain or coping with it. But in my body, it was a paralyzing pain to some extent. But it was still like an 8 for me. And my husband's like, "Are you good? Is there anything I can do?" And I was like, I'm breathing through it. And they said, "Oh, we want to check you. Do you want the epidural?" I was like, "Well, first check me. And if I'm like 7 centimeters or something like that, then I can push through this." I was 3 centimeters. I said, "Okay. Do you know about how much time I have before the baby is born?" It goes, "Oh, you can be laboring for the next 10, 15 hours, 20 hours. We don't know." I was like, "Okay, no, give me the epidural. I can't, I don't think I can do this for another 15 hours because I had already done the other thing with the bulb, coping with that for 12 hours, and I didn't sleep. And maybe that was a mistake because I was already tired from all of the induction process. Like my body, I was physically tired, that when labor and delivery came, I just honestly didn't have any more to give per se, which, yeah, that's all I can say. If I was more dilated, I was like, I'll push through it, but I don't think I can. So I said, "Okay, I'll take the epidural." I hadn't signed paperwork for the epidural, so this might be something you guys want to do beforehand, because I told them I want to try and go natural, but I'm open to the epidural. So I hadn't signed any papers for the epidural ahead of time. So I'm trying to read through stuff because I like to read through paperwork and contracts, all that stuff, before I sign anything. That's just me. Don't trust people with your health without knowing what side effects and what can and cannot be done, etc. It's me. But the contraction was coming, and I'm like, and I'm just signing. And my signature, if you look at my signature during the contraction, I'm signing like 3 pages or 4 pages or whatever to give them an okay to give me the epidural, with all these, there's all these caveats of, okay, what it does and what it may do to you, and I'm sure it's in there, you can't sue us or whatever if anything goes wrong, etc. But I would recommend doing that ahead of time so that anybody kind of will sign anything when they're in pain. You want to make sure you read thoroughly over the documents beforehand. So I'm signing and they order it. This is about 15 minutes. 15 minutes, these contractions are like happening. They're not every 10 minutes. They're like 5 to 7, maybe that minute. It was, but I was only 3 centimeters dilated. And so I'm going through this and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm waiting for it. And they're like, "Do you want the walking epidural or the full epidural?" And the walking epidural, you'll still be able to feel the contractions though. I was like, "Just give me the full epidural. Just give me the full. I don't mind sitting here. Just give me the full epidural." So by the time I asked for the epidural and I got it, was about 30 minutes, and it didn't actually come into effect maybe 15, 20 minutes later. My legs started to feel numb. My bottom portion started to feel numb. And yeah, but almost an hour. Yeah, if you're going to get the epidural, I can see why people say get it before the pain hits, because she's doing my back, and the lady was amazing. She was great. She was going fast. She's like, "I got you. I understand." But you have that little button that you push if you need more medicine, etc. But yeah, it didn't take effect. So I really didn't start feeling it for almost an hour from the time I ordered it, which is crazy. Yeah, they have to order it. So if you know you're going to get the epidural, you should probably get it before the contractions hit. And then once I got it, I actually fell asleep for 2, almost 3 hours maybe. Yeah. And then I woke up because I started feeling contractions again. And I was like, "Oh, I need to press the button. Need to press the button for more." And the nurse said, "Okay, it looks like you can start pushing so that we can start the process, and I couldn't feel any pressure when I was pushing. I was just pushing from telling my head that to go down and push, because I couldn't feel anything in my lower half. So I just was pushing as hard as I could, but I was pushing from kind of nowhere. I couldn't feel anything below. So yeah, pushed during a contraction, take a breath, push again, 3 pushes during 1 contraction. She's like, oh, good, okay. And then when another contraction comes, we're going to push again. And the second contraction, she said push, and she goes, oh, okay, the baby's head is coming out. Get the doctor. Oh, oh, okay. The doctor came in, and I pushed maybe 7 more times, between two or 3 more contractions, and the baby was out. So I pushed like 10 minutes. Well, not even 10 minutes, because I pushed probably, 7 or 8 times and the baby was out, but I was waiting for the next contraction. So I can't say I pushed 10 minutes because I didn't push while we were waiting for another contraction because I didn't feel the contraction. They told me another contraction is happening. So push. And she came right out. And what ended up happening though was I was down in labor and delivery for about 5 hours. And I had the baby. So if I knew it was going to be 5 hours, would I have gotten the epidural? Probably not. Because I would have said, oh, 5 hours I can do. But I didn't know if it was going to be 5 or 15. So am I happy I got the epidural? Yes. I don't regret it at all. Because you don't know. And I slept really good for those 2 or 3 hours that I got. But yeah, induction is a long process. We were at the hospital for 6 days, and we were just so ready to go home. And I was exhausted. My husband was exhausted too. And they had a pull-out bed for him and all that stuff. It's just, being the exhaustion of it all. That's really what it is. It's really what it is. And I had an amazing experience. But I thought the induction process, for you guys who didn't know, and you can just go straight to the Foley balloon. Some people do. I went through the whole process because that's what they offered me. And I wanted to start off as low risk as possible. So yeah, I hope that helps some of you guys know more about the induction process and how long it can actually take for somebody whose baby wants to stay in. So yes, I appreciate you guys going through this journey with me, and I'll have other pregnancy related videos. But she's doing great. She's amazing. It's weird to say we love being parents. It's exhausting. I haven't slept, and I'm putting on a good face with the camera, put on my makeup, and I still try and do that though, because it makes you feel normal and feel good, just to take a shower, put yourself together. Well, for me it does. I'm not telling for you, but for me it does. So anyway, I'm gonna stop babbling. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.